Alright. I probably overreacted a little bit with how long of a hiatus we've taken from Boruto on this channel, but I think it's finally time to embrace the fact that the Boruto manga looks like it's going places right now. The recent chapter changed our understanding of the abilities on a fundamental level, and an entire new mountain's worth of lore was introduced. It looks like our boy Boruto has made a new friend now. Yeah, all of this and more as we dive into today's video because there is a lot to talk about. Firstly, of course, our good old friend Dr. Amato explains the full scope of Ida and Daemon's abilities, and they are, as you can expect, pretty freaking OP. On one hand, Ida has this all-powerful love charm that's capable of influencing any and all individuals except her brother and those who have Otsutsuki blood, and this would include Boruto and Kawaki. Plus, she's a young woman, so of course, she, like everyone else, dreams of that genuine love. Since Kawaki and Boruto are unaffected by her all-powerful love charm, it's only natural for her to be interested in them. Especially Kawaki, but she does also find Boruto kinda cute. Personally, at this point in the story, I don't really know what to make of that part, but anyways, she also possesses the Senrigan in her left eye through which she can sneak a peek on anything that is happening or has ever happened since her birth. Moving on, she can also fly around and knows her moves when it comes to taijutsu. Overall, she's not the kind of woman Boruto and the others would want as their enemy, and as Shikamaru said, she can easily take over the world with this ability. Next up is her brother Daemon. Now, Daemon is basically a mirror, so much so that even if you look at him with the intent to harm, that same intent will be directed right back at you. Kawaki would be the one to confirm this to Boruto and the others, so this would also confirm that being an Otsutsuki like Boruto and Kawaki are, doesn't exempt you from Daemon's abilities. Besides that, I mean, imagine fighting someone like that. If you're anything like Broly, you're gonna have a pretty rough day with my boy Daemon here. Naruto is honestly rather intrigued by all these abilities, and so he asks Amato how he even came up with them, but Amato isn't the progenitor, not at all really. He simply mixed up and transplanted a few things that already existed, which resulted in these abilities. Still though, for something to be transplanted, it has to first exist, right? Which means it would have to have a source. And well, this is where things this chapter got absolutely insane, because a new Otsutsuki would be revealed, and his name is Shiba Otsutsuki, and he is someone who achieved godhood. He consumed countless worlds by turning their life forms into chakra fruits, and in doing so, he repetitively revived himself using karma. At one point, Shiba achieved unparalleled levels of chakra and abilities. What happened wasn't a mere upgrade though, it was a complete evolution. In his words, Amato states that Shiba ascended to godhood. The scope of Shiba's powers became cosmic. His abilities were nothing short of miracles, and so what we have here is something that goes beyond ninjutsu or even senjutsu. This is called Shinjutsu. As it turns out, it isn't just Ida or Daemon's abilities that can be considered Shinjutsu. Code's claw marks are also in the same tier, which is also to be expected because his goal, if we remember correctly, is all about evolving into this celestial being and beyond. Though the abilities Kawaki inherited from Ishiki are in the same tier as well, and not to mention the karmic resurrection itself. Amato goes on to put this into perspective that in front of Shinjutsu, ninjutsu can merely be considered an imitation at best. And this looks like it kinda strikes a nerve with Sarada. This does trigger a really interesting question though, and as always, Shikamaru is quick to point out the elephant in the room. So if Shiba Otsutsuki was really this strong and this overpowered, how did he end up as a corpse? As Amato said, the residue of Shiba's corpse is what was used as the base ingredient of all of these ridiculous abilities we see today. So could it be that someone actually managed to kill Shiba, which was another question floating around the room? Well, actually, not at all. In fact, one can only speculate. Maybe he evolved even further beyond and no longer required that physical existence. What if he's in a different dimension altogether? All in all, I can only imagine the stakes and the possibilities if Otsutsuki Shiba is relevant again, or even better, actually makes an appearance. And it also looks like Amato himself has his own affiliation with these powers. All he wanted was to resurrect his daughter, but he couldn't. He created clones with the same memories, but they just weren't the same person. It was quite the rabbit hole that Amato flung himself down, but he quickly came to the realization that what he was doing, trying to revive a human life, was not the work of the mortals. It was the work of the gods, and what he was trying to tinker with, it's God's domain to begin with. Amato tried everything he could envision and still failed. The hopelessness and defeat he felt back then is difficult to articulate into words, which is why when Jigen showed up right in front of him with the promise to actually revive his daughter in exchange for some corporate labor, Amato was all game. He was ready to do anything if it meant he could bring his daughter back to life. Unfortunately, the scope of doing anything was still undefined at that time, but when he finally realized how Ishiki's goal will ultimately result in sucking the planet completely dry, hence in turn effectively wiping out all life on Earth, the idea of resurrecting his daughter at this cost just didn't seem reasonable anymore. But even now, Amato hasn't given up. With the discovery of karmic resurrection, he has realized that it is still possible for him to revive Akibi. The final ingredient is Kawaki. Well, this would explain his motivations for what he did and what he's done up to this point, but Shikamaru and his paranoid soul are still not convinced. So Shikamaru would go on to ask Ida to look into Amato's past herself to see if what he's saying is for real. Kind of an asshole thing to do at a time like this, but if you're Shikamaru, you cannot be too careful right here. Meanwhile, if this chapter wasn't already crazy enough, another significant thing goes on to happen right here. Momoshiki just suddenly starts talking to Boruto telepathically. Or to give it a slightly better explanation, their thoughts start crossing over one another involuntarily. Momoshiki pleads with Boruto to not make a big scene out of this, as this could tip someone off to start eavesdropping on whatever their future conversation is about to be. Boruto would of course comply, and then the conversation would move in the direction of what Amato was just talking about. Momoshiki would state that he's suspicious, but what Amato said about Shiba not being in this dimension and the Shinjutsu, all of that is 100% true. However, Ida's ability is what's really concerning him. The Senrigan is one thing, but that ability to unwillingly charm any and all people, that is not an ability of Shinjutsu. Momoshiki declares that he knows all about Shinjutsu, but this is the first time he's heard about this one, which means that there's a strong possibility that Amato is hiding something. Subsequently, as Momoshiki explains this to Boruto, Ida is finished with the introspection. She conveniently gives the green light, which just raises further questions, or at least in the minds of Boruto and the Otsutsuki. Then there's the final part of the chapter and yet another cherry on top, guys. Momoshiki simply replies that it's against their will. Honestly, this brief little conversation Boruto had with Momoshiki is enough of a reason for me to assume that they're gonna have some sort of alliance moving forward. They don't have to be best buddies or anything like that, just two souls who may or may not find that their ideals aligned at one crossroad or another in the future. Following this, as Boruto tries to reply, he sees a vision of the future. Well, it wasn't explicitly stated, but I guess it's reasonable to say that this was indeed a vision of the future. Not even a far future, because they are still same age in the vision. His friends are all trying to chase Kawaki, and it looks like Kawaki did something kinda unpleasant. Starr finds him, and then Mitsuki lashes out. He states that he had been genuinely angered. The vision ends with a stern-looking Kawaki, and Boruto is just simply speechless. The look on his face is too obvious to not be noticed by Ida, and well, that's where the chapter ends. I guess it would make a little bit of sense for Momoshiki to probably talk about code to Boruto in the next chapter, and if I'm reading this right, if Boruto now kind of sort of has the ability to see into the future, well, that's probably going to be pretty handy, but it also looks like it comes with a lot of anxiety. Ida's love charm is definitely the highlight of this chapter to me though, as there's just something about it that we're missing right now, something we don't know. There's just something to this, and to be fair, there has to be something much more sinister to this, because why else would Momoshiki be so cautious of a love charm that wouldn't affect him? But let's also keep in mind that Momoshiki isn't a friend. He could be messing with Boruto the whole time here. Anyways guys, this chapter was just pure lore bombs and anticipation from top to bottom. I really hope you all enjoyed it as much as I did. This was definitely one to get me back into the Boruto manga, I'm not gonna lie. It looks like we're in it for the long haul with this arc. It isn't even about the content or the context. This chapter simply had a different air to it. I even went back and read the last couple of chapters before this because I fell off a little bit, and this chapter just hit different, guys. I don't know. What do you all think? Is it about time that Boruto surprises everybody? Be sure to leave a like down below if you guys did enjoy the video, and also don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell down below to never miss an upload as soon as they go live. Don't forget to follow on both Twitch and Twitter, guys. The lit streams are gonna be coming back very, very soon. Trust me, sooner than you guys probably think, so you probably want to have notifications on any and everywhere you can. But anyways, have a great day, and I'll see you all in the next one.